So I got started in the PR field. So I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science, which is now Philadelphia University.
Mm-hmm.
I went there to get my degree in fashion merchandising. I wanted to be a buyer.
Okay.
And about a year in, I realized I didn't want to do that and learned that PR was actually an industry. But, being in Pennsylvania, I didn't even know that a job existed where you could, dress celebrities and, this amazing career. So after I learned about that, I had a sister that lived in Los Angeles. She's 10 years older than I was, and she was actually doing the PR for Von Dutch. Remember, the trucker hats? And
yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, she has the coolest job ever. I need to do this. So as soon as I graduated, I moved to LA, and the timing was perfect because 6 months after I moved, she left Von Dutch after its huge heyday and started her own marketing and PR firm.
Okay.
So I started with her. I luckily had someone in the business that I knew. So I started with her from day one, and we worked together at her agency for 8 years. I worked with her.
Okay.
And I was the VP, and I was doing all the celebrity relations, working with all the stylists and the editors and the bloggers and all of these different behind-the-scenes trendsetters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was 2009, 2010, I had the idea. I'm like, celebrities are great, but these are the true trendsetters. It's the stylists, it's the bloggers, the editors, all these people behind the scenes that are really making trends happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to create Simply Stylist. It's a way to showcase these true trendsetters via our blog and through our fashion conferences. And, that was my dream. I'm like, I want to showcase you guys because you really are the true people that create trends. So I had the idea and then made the hardest decision of my life to leave my sister's company.
Okay.
And did it and kind of jumped off the bridge and didn't know what was going to happen. And I have a really supportive husband that told me to go for it. And it's been about a year and a half now. So
that's such a cool story. So what made you realize that you didn't want to be a buyer? What kind of through that process where you're like, oh, wait, this isn't really my thing?
You have this glamorous idea in your head of what a buyer is. And I met with a lot of people when I was in college, and it's really, a lot of numbers, which I loved math. I'd probably be pretty good at it because I love that kind of stuff. But I don't know, it just wasn't. I could do it. It just wasn't my passion anymore. Yeah. And after speaking with a lot of people in the industry, a lot of buyers are like, "Don't do it. Do this." Kind of steering me away from it. And
right.
It's a tough industry now. The fashion industry. It's to be a buyer, you need budgets, and a lot of budgets are cut. And
right.
I didn't know that back in college because that was years ago. But good, I didn't.
I think I like that you said as well that, you didn't even realize PR really existed because of where you grew up. I also teach high school art. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. And so a lot of what I try and talk to my students about are careers that they really, they have no idea that they even exist and that it's a potential thing for them to do, which is part of the reason I was so excited about what you're doing, because I have a lot of girls that are really interested in fashion, but they tell me, oh, I'm not going to do anything with it because it's impossible. Thinking that even being a fashion designer is the only way to have your hands in that industry. And so trying to show them that there are lots and lots of other really cool ways to get into it.
Right. And there's so many different jobs that I'm still learning about every day.
Yeah.
And, I've been out of school for 10 plus years now. So there's so much to do in fashion, and people only know about, they know about being a stylist because of this, Rachel Zoe and her TV show. But there's so many jobs and there's so many cool things that you can do in the industry, and it's really about who you know, and that's why I created my company, so people can come to my events, network within the industry. It's really about one handshake, meeting one person. It's like that one connection that you need, and you can really get into the industry, and it's all about the work that you do. And yeah, school's great, but it's all about your internships, it's about your relationships, your networking, and just, honestly, that's what I tell everyone. Just get your foot in the door.
Yeah. So, kind of leading into that, as you said, you decided to just jump off the bridge and leave your job and start this. So, how did what steps did you take when you were like, I'm going to start my own business to actually do that, to feel like you could take that risk?
It was a really, really scary moment. That day when I sent the email saying, I'm no longer here, here's my new contact information. I can't even explain it, but it's invigorating and it's awesome, but it's still scary as hell. But I was planning for like 3 months before I left. So I was getting my email set up. I was working with a web developer. I was putting my business plan together. I was setting up my company. I was doing consulting, I don't know if they have this in Pennsylvania, but in California, they have free consultants because they really want to grow small businesses. So I went to one. It's like the government funds it. And it's for small businesses, and you can go for free, and it's these amazing consultants, and they tell you what you need to do in order to set up a business, what taxes you need to pay, just all that stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
But I think every state does that. So I would really suggest...
I'll have to look and see what Pennsylvania has for that.
Yeah. I know California has a huge budget for it, so I would imagine it's everywhere, but I did that, and I was just really prepping for that one day when I was done. And, as soon as I sent the email out, I had a few people that asked me if I would do their PR, and I kind of did that to help supplement while I was building my company. So still have a lot of them as clients now. One is Kat Sadler of E! I do her PR. I do a couple celebrity stylist PR. So I moved from doing PR for fashion brands into doing PR for experts and bloggers and stylists and people like that, which I didn't really know that was going to come, but you kind of have to take the risk and see what happens. Right. So, but yeah, I was prepping for 3 months, and then I left, and I was just started focusing on my first event, which was 3 months later. And that was Simply Stylist LA, and we ended up having 750 people there, and it was a huge success. I mean, obviously there were things I changed, and it was my first event, but to have 750 people at the first event, I was pretty stoked, and it was good. Yeah, I got lots of press, and just, you can't look back. You just got to go. And
Right. So what were some of the steps that you took to launch that event or even to set it up? Because I can't imagine, hosting an event with 750 people. That's a lot of people to plan for.
I used a lot of my relationships that I had doing PR. So, I put together my panel, which it's all people that I had relationships with already. And I pulled the favors and made them come out and help me, and it's relationships with brands that I've worked with over the years, and honestly, it's really all about relationships, and you never know how you're going to work with that person in the future, or what job you're going to be in, or how you might be able to, do things together. So my goal in my career is always to just be nice to everyone, never, be too cool for school. Yeah, I don't know. It's like that Pennsylvania mentality. And that's kind of how I've built my career, because it's, these people that maybe they're a really small blogger 5 years before, but I've stayed in touch. I always gave them clothes. I always was good to them. And then before I know it, they're one of the biggest bloggers, and they're sitting on my panel because I was always good to them. So it always kind of comes full circle. So I pulled all those relationships, got my panel together. I used my PR, relationships to get all the press on it. It was really all about the relationships that I already had. So it's just kind of picking up the phone and pulling all the favors and getting the buzz out there.
Right. So as you do these events, who should come to them, and then where are they located if people think they sound exciting and want to come?
Well, we have them, as of this year, we launched in 2 new cities. We have LA, New York, Dallas, and Chicago. Okay. And coming up, we have Dallas on November 17th, and we have New York October 27th. Okay. And then LA and Chicago are next year in 2014, in March and June. Okay. And basically, people that come should be anyone that wants to be in the fashion and beauty industry, people that are already in the industry and just want to come and network. My mom comes to every event because she loves fashion and just wants to learn what the trends are from the experts. So it's a great way to come network, make new friends, learn from these huge style and beauty experts. It's hosted by Kat from E! News. Okay. Our last panel, we had Brad Goreski, Whitney Port, Louise Rowe, Ami Song from Song of Style. So we get really, really great panelists, and every event we just try to keep it new and exciting. We have tons of different breakout sessions happening where you can come and learn, blogging 101 from one of the top bloggers, and you can learn, how to build your voice on social media, or how to build a YouTube site, or, all these different factors that you might need in building a career in fashion and beauty. So it's like a one-day, one-stop shop, make tons of connections. I have tons of brands there that are doing beauty services, pampering. You can shop at a discount. There's tons of fashion brands at each event that sell. So you can get any type of package. You can just get like the shopping and pampering package, which is like $20, or you could do the full day, which is like $200. So
that's cool. So they have some options as to what they're kind of getting into. But even $200, that is not that much for the panels and the breakout sessions. That's a deal.
Yeah. And you get a lunch, you get cocktails, you get a killer gift bag. The gift bag is ridiculous. So it's like, I even lowered the price. It used to be $300, so now I lowered it to $200. And actually, well, by the time this airs, it's going to be over. But early bird tickets are available today.
Okay.
But maybe I'll give you guys a code so you can.
Yeah, that would be
get
cool.
Special discount.
Do you, as far as kind of the age range of people that come, do you get a lot of like college age people coming in that are sort of trying to figure out what they're doing, or is it this just great big wide age group that you're drawing?
No, I would say it's age 18 to like 35.
Okay.
So it's people in college that really want to, figure out what they want to do with their life, or maybe they know that what they want to do and they want to be a blogger and they want to hear directly from that blogger, or they as designer or stylist. Or it's people, I've had a lot of professionals that want to make a career change or just come and really get influenced by these people and kind of just have this great day of fashion, fun, beauty with their friends. So it ranges. I mean, I've had lawyers come that are like, I want to change my career. I want to be a stylist, but I'm scared. And they just come and get inspiration. So, but for the most part, it's people that work in fashion and beauty or want to work in fashion and beauty.
Okay, cool. So how, as you're planning these events, how do you decide what designers and what brands you're going to work with at the events?
Well, I look at a few things. I look at, is their style similar? Is their style similar to the attendees? Is it kind of in line with the Simply Stylist brand? I always look at a heavy social media following, because our events are very heavy with social media, with Twitter and Instagram and everything. Right. So I look at that. And just, about their story. If they, had this really hard road to success, that's the best. I love when people have this really great story where they came from, like the rags to riches type of story, rather than like, oh, it was handed to me from my dad and he gave me $1 million and I started a line. Like, not exciting. Right. So I really want the powerful stories. So that's big. I would say those are the three things that I look for.
So do you just kind of discover most of your brands, or if there was a designer that was watching this and thinking like, that sounds awesome, I think I really fit, and they were going to approach you, what would you want them to have, like, you would open their email and just be so pumped, like, oh my gosh, they have everything that I want?
Well, for brands, there's two ways brands can get involved. One is to sell at the event, so they can sell to all the consumers and then also get to interact with all the panelists and really get to build relationships with their own brand. Right. So in order to do that, you can submit it through our website and we take a look. Usually we'll need like a lookbook or a website to just kind of check it out and make sure it's something that will fit. Right. I do recommend that the prices are $200 and under for retail, just because people are paying for tickets already. It's like, no one's going to, I don't want a brand to come on board and then they don't sell anything.
Right.
So I recommend that it's, at a decent price range. And then, just if it fits with our demographic. So I just kind of take a look and look at their website and look at their branding and all of that, and to see if it's something that fits within their budget, because there is a flat fee to participate.
Okay.
But it's only 20 brands, so it's very intimate, but they get to reach a lot of people in each city.
Yeah.
And then another way to do it is, the big designers, so they get to sit on the panel. So that's the other way. But I usually do outreach to them specifically. If they're contacting me, usually they're not at the level that,
right, that you're putting on the panel.
Right.
Yes, I totally get it. So if you were going to choose two things about an upcoming designer that you think would get them noticed, either just by you or just since you're working in the fashion industry and working with all kinds of big brands, what do you think are the type of things that, maybe sets apart that one designer gets noticed and another one just kind of falls by the wayside?
Well, coming from a PR girl, the number one thing you can do is have a PR team or someone dedicated to PR in-house. And that means doing everything from social media interaction with people. Instagram is huge right now. And the best thing about today is you can reach out to celebrities, stylists, bloggers, all of these huge influencers directly via Twitter and Instagram. And usually they have a website and you can just contact them directly. So having someone dedicated to that will really give them the boost. And also, don't be afraid to gift. You gotta gift your stuff. If you're, cheap about that, you're not gonna get your stuff anywhere. You have to dedicate, if I started a line, half of it would be given away to influencers and to celebrities. And, you figure one celebrity photo can, open up doors in terms of shopping, Bloomingdale's or whoever it is. They want to see celebrity photos. And same with shoppers and consumers directly. So I think that is the most important thing. Also having great photos and great photo shoots is really important. Good branding. So